everyone, my name is Professor Perkle. As summer is right around the corner, there is so much to see outside, including plants. Whether it be a flower, a tree, or a blade of grass, these are all plants. Today I'm going to share a few different experiments that involve plants. First, I will demonstrate how water moves through a plant. So we can do this with celery, or you could use flowers. You can try a lot of different materials for this. So first I'm going to take a jar and just pour some water in it. And I would put food coloring in this. And then you would stick your celery, is what I used, or flour, in that and let it sit for about a week. And after a week, this is what the leaves of my celery stalks look like. As you can see, they're dyed blue. And what happens is that the water that I dyed blue traveled up the celery stalk and into the leaves. And this is called capillary action. So this is how a plant will get nutrients to grow. So the blue is just showing you that the water traveled all the way up the stalk and into the leaves. So feel free to try this with different types of plants and see what you can find. Next, I will share about how pine cones work. So if you go outside and find a pine tree, it'll have pine cones hanging on them. Now these pine cones are dried out because the temperature around them was hot and dry, so they're opened up and they kind of sound a little crunchy. But when it rains, the pine cones close to protect themselves. So you can see now that this one is skinnier than the other ones, and the little leaves are closed on the pine cone. So this is what happens when the temperature is cold and wet. So you can see the difference between this pine cone and this pine cone. And if you let this one sit out of the water, it will open back up and dry out to look like this one. For the next experiment, I will be using sandpaper to create an image of a leaf on my paper. So you can get sandpaper online. You can ask your parents and maybe they can get some for you. It's relatively inexpensive. So I have my sandpaper, and this one I already made, but this one is a fresh piece of sandpaper. And you want to find any leaf, or you can use flowers that you find outside, and you want to place it onto the paper like this, or any way you want. And then you want to go out into the sun for about 2 minutes and let this get exposed. And then we're going to come back and put water in this tub and soak our paper in, and that helps it become really vibrant. So now our dark paper has turned a pale blue, and you can see when we take the leaf off, there's already a pattern from it. But when we put it in the water, it'll turn more to look like this one. So just put it in the water for about a minute, and then we'll take it out and look at it. You want to flip it over on both sides. Now we see that it's darkened around the sides, and we have a really nice white center. For the next experiment, I found a collection of different leaves outside. So I have some big leaves and some smaller leaves. And what we can do is take a piece of paper and use some crayons that I've taken the wrapper off. And what you can do is put a leaf under the paper, and then take your crayon and use it like this to make an impression of the leaf. And you can see all the veins in the leaves that are used to transport water up to the plant. So that was that big leaf. We can look at this smaller leaf and see what that one looks like. And I have this bigger leaf. So we have all these different little impressions of our leaves. So I challenge you to go outside in nature and find some leaves, and then you can use crayons to color them onto a piece of paper. Thank you for joining me and learning more about plants. I hope you can try some of these experiments at home. Thanks for watching.